here are my thoughts on the game. It was definitely something. It's really made in the same vein and has the same kind of mechanics that like Subnautica has. So I can see why people are like comparing one and the other. It has definitely a ton of humor, which I really enjoyed. I know it's not for everybody. Like some people didn't like the humor at all. Like I read online some reviews and people were like, oh, it's it's grating on me and I don't like it. For me personally, I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. There was a lot of like callback to other games and other stuff, and I thought it was kind of okay. The combat mechanics and the bosses mechanics and stuff was kind of meh. I felt like it was kind of tacked on, as if like the game needed like a moment like that, like even though it didn't really need one. So like the two bosses are only in the last 2 chapters, and they're not great fights. They're kind of meh. Surprisingly, the space combat stuff was like working pretty well. Like I was kind of surprised. Like it's super responsive. It works pretty well. The game is extremely uneven, like very much so. The first 2 chapters are very Subnautica-ish, and I really enjoyed them the most. Chapter 3 was extremely short. It was like more of the same thing, but the games kind of moves away from your base, and you don't have to return because they literally have all around you on purpose all the materials you might need, so you don't even need to go back to your base that you built. And then as soon as you get into chapter 4, that's it. You never come back to your base ever. It's just gone. And everything else becomes ride the Normandy around, dock to certain things. Bob, thank you so much for the resub. I really appreciate it, man. Square, oh, I love it. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. We'll be here the rest of the week. We're not going anywhere. Sumner, thank you so much for those bits. So yeah, the game is extremely uneven. I felt like the most fun was in the beginning of the game, and then it kind of started dragging on a little bit. Thankfully, the last few chapters are not super long, and thankfully, I kind of avoided them being even longer because I hoarded a bunch of materials. So whenever we reached a spot that we needed to craft stuff last minute, we already had the stuff. We didn't need to like do much of anything. It was just there. So we just like crafted the stuff we needed, and then we moved on to whatever else the game was bringing. So yeah. So I honestly like, the team that made this game did a fantastic job. It was a very small team, and I don't feel like they had a ton of money to make this either, and it shows. And it still came out very good. I'm definitely excited to see whatever other game they come up with in the future, be it more like a Breathedge 2 that maybe like kind of focuses more on the early parts of the game that we got and not like on the later parts. It really felt like they had a lot of money at the beginning, and they had a lot of like lofty ideas for the game and stuff, and lots of plans, and it felt like the game was like working in a specific way, and it was building up to something. And then it kind of feels like starting at chapter 4, they either wanted to try something else, or they ran out of money and they kind of decided to go finish the story as soon as possible in as little time as possible, and just kind of wrap it up and kind of hope that they can recoup some of the costs through selling the game. Surprisingly enough, there were no like game breaking bugs. Like we didn't crash really. We didn't like get stuck anywhere. I didn't go through like walls. Everything was working like as it should have worked. There might have been like very small glitches here or there, but like really like nothing noticeable at all, which really surprised me. So yeah, I'd say overall I'd probably give this game like a, I don't know, maybe a 7. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like a 7. I think that sounds about good. It really kind of dragged on towards the end. I feel like they could have almost like kind of found a way to kind of wrap up the story either in 2 games or if they really wanted to make it one game, kind of rebalance the chapters and make the change the chapter layout so that because chapter 2 is so long, it could have easily been like chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5 almost in the same thing, and then maybe you have a side chapter 6 where the game kind of wraps up with the cutscene or something, and then that would have been it. Honestly, chapter 5 didn't need to exist at all. And even chapter 4, but it could have been just you finish the ship in chapter 3, you teleport into chapter 6, and then you just finish the game there. That could have been just that. So yeah, I think a 7 is fair. I think I'm excited to see whatever they come up with in the future, and yeah, that was fun. That was a fun game. So yeah, it's done.